Welcome and welcome back. We have a really fun fight night in celebration of Halloween and Dia de los Muertos. Has everyone got their Halloween costumes? I've got mine. Can you tell who I am? It's me, Chael Sonnen. Should I scream at you so it comes through a little more? Okay. What's your Halloween costume? Do you have one? That's about the extent of mine, but I do like Halloween. But this is on the first day of Dia de los Muertos. We get an amazing headliner. David Onama versus Steve Garcia. This is going to be a really good one. We got a lot of really fun fights on this card. Let's give it the old dynamic breakdown. We're back in the Apex. Boo! I mean, if there's one thing that's haunting about this fight card, okay, sorry, that's a stretch. Not a big fan of the Apex, it's okay. Yes, shout out to Dia de los Muertos. First day, it's a 2-day event if you don't know. Really fun time. Great alternative to Halloween if you're not a Halloween fan. It's a little different. We got 4 ranked matchups. That's pretty fun. This card's definitely for the real ones. We have a lot of amazing, really talented athletes all over this card who are really paving a name for themselves. We got 10 different flags, if I counted correctly, so a lot of really cool nation representation on this card. That's awesome. And interestingly, we have Southpaws all over it. This is Southpaw City. I don't know, I didn't count them all, but there's a lot of Southpaws. We got to give a shout out to Cody Durden, stepping in just 4 days notice to save the bout against Nascimento. That's pretty cool of him. And happy birthday to Jeremiah Wells. His birthday is October 30th. So it is going to be tomorrow, right before Halloween. Let's give him some love and shout outs for making it another year around the sun. First up, we have a women's strawweight bout between Talita Alencar and Ariane Carnelossi. Talita Alencar also had a birthday recently, so happy belated birthday to her. She is the problem child. She's a BJJ black belt, and oh boy is she. Okay, she's this 6-time world champion, so extremely decorated in the sport. She made her way to the UFC in 2023. Right now, is coming off of a pretty dominant decision win over Mesa Demopoulos. That was pretty dope. She's definitely somebody who goes for the clinch a lot as a way to, close that distance because she's oftentimes the shorter fighter, really likes to be on the ground. And when she is on the ground, she loves working in that rear naked choke. So she's choky. Hasn't had anything in knockout land, both win and loss, so definitely preferring the submission and the decision as of now. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe she'll get her first knockout win. You never know. She's got a lot of great heroes: Damian Maya, Shitara, which is Myra Buena Silva, if you don't know, and Pedro Munoz. So look to those athletes as far as where she is drawing inspiration, and she's looking to give you some inspiration. Right? She'll be going against Ariane Carnelossi, who is also BJJ black belt, also a Muay Thai kickboxing black belt. Definitely likes to keep it in the striking, it seems. She came to the UFC in 2019, has had a bit of a slow start, 3-2, coming off of a pretty strange disqualification. This was really weird. I mean, Rodriguez hits her with what seems like a pretty intentional headbutt. Like there was one, like they were in ground and pound, she like comes down there, kind of interesting move there. Ref gives her a warning, another one comes down, and they called the fight. So that was pretty strange. Yeah, that was the last time we saw her, and that was a little more than a year ago, so it's been a little while. She's definitely a unit. She's very, very strong physically, and that manifests itself into 60% of her wins coming from knockout, kind of looking to crash in there, waiting on the outside and looking to blast in there. I mean, she is very strong. This will be a pretty fun scrap. Cool to see Ariane back again. Been a little while, a little bit over a year. I'm expecting her to be really physical in there because that's just how she rolls. Like, she is very, very physical, and I'm expecting Talita to respond with going for takedowns because that's her thing. One fight kind of gassed her out, but she went for like 30-some takedowns. We're going Marab on him. So I definitely expect her to see her looking for that because Carnelossi has been a little bit susceptible to takedowns in the past, so it may serve as an effective strategy. This one should be scrappy. I have 3 Halloween shirts to debut, and I'm wearing them all at once. Why? I don't know. This is the first one. Okay, we'll change them throughout. This is backwards, but you get it. Then we got a welterweight matchup, Philip Rowe versus Seok Young Ko. Phil Rowe, shout out Phil, Fresh Prince, and he is from Brooklyn, so It adds up. He came through from the Dana White Contender Series, has been 4-3, and has been looking so radical and definitely making a lot of improvements as he goes along. He's been a pro for a while now, since 2014, and just been bouncing all over the place between all sorts of different promotions. Right now, he's coming off of a knockout win versus Andre Losa, and that was Losa's first ever knockout loss. So pretty significant stuff. Phil Rowe, really powerful. If we look into the losses that he's accrued in the UFC, most recently Jake Matthews, that was pretty crazy. You know how Jake Matthews is. You know how Jake Matthews is. We love Jake Matthews, and that was a pretty cool decision fight. Matthews, he's the kind of fighter that just, it's pretty hard to outdog him. So Phil maybe not using his length completely in that fight, but it was a pretty fun, competitive one. Dean was saying maybe he could have been a little more swaggy with it. Because sometimes, maybe a little too flat-footed. Flat-footed can be good. It depends. And then his previous loss was to Magny, and that was a split decision. That was a really, really fun scrap. Made Phil a little mad, to lose the splitty. Yeah, so Phil, tall guy, 6'3", and he definitely fights tall. Not all tall guys fight tall. We actually have a tall guy who doesn't fight tall later on this card. Yeah, he fights tall though, definitely keeping the length. He's not very bouncy these days, or hasn't been looking, but in some of his previous fights was pretty bouncy on the feet, so definitely, changing things up. He's a boxing, stand-up kind of guy. That's definitely his preference. 64% of his wins manifesting in knockout, and 80% of his losses via decision. So seeing a little bit of a waning maybe in those later rounds. But I really believe that Phil can revamp the knockout streak, because previous to his losses, he was on a three-fight knockout streak, and he's just coming off a knockout now. So we'll see. He definitely says that he enjoys the struggle and enjoys the process, but he's still a silly fun guy. He is a silly fun guy. And he's going against Young Ko, Korean Tyson, or KO Ko, and he is also a silly fun guy. This is a silly fun guy right here. He's a southpaw. Watch out. Okay, watch out. He is a Sambo champion. He is an AFC champion in 2 weight classes, so has experience both in welter and middleweight. He's coming off his first UFC appearance against Oban Elliott, and he was in front of the big lights, and he definitely showed a lot of confidence. He was throwing Elliott all around, getting those underhooks in, saying, "Get down here." That's pretty crazy stuff. And he was being very sassy. At one point, Oban was attempting to submit him, and he gives a little finger wag. Like, he's sassy, got a lot of character and charisma, and he has amassed a 5-fight winning streak. So making those knockouts happen, 55% of his wins, never in the third round. So if he's gonna get you out, it's gotta be early. Everything else is via decision, nothing in the subland. So, he'll throw you down, but not really looking to manifest any submissions as of yet. He's definitely somebody who's willing to walk directly in the fire, but prefers counter-striking nonetheless. Yes, prefers counter-striking nonetheless. And the only way that he's ever been defeated is via knockout. Interesting. This should be a really fun fight. We've seen Ko deal with length relatively well. So I don't think he'll have a problem getting to work with Phil. Both of these guys are really, really fun. Both of them possess a lot of power, and they carry a lot of personality. So this should be a really fun fight to watch. Both guys, really interesting styles. Should be great. And then we have a women's strawweight fight against Alice Ardelean versus Monasterat Ruiz. Alice Ardelean is such a gamer. She is a former RXF and EFC champ, was inspired to start fighting from Gina Carano. I mean, who isn't inspired by Gina, right? Am I right? She had 2 really good fights, manifested themselves into losses, but were really good fights nonetheless, but is coming off of a fight of the night decision win versus Rayen Dos Santos, and that was awesome. That was an amazing fight. She was smiling through the slugfest, like you could tell she loved it, and she confirmed that for us. She said, "I like getting punched in the face." You go, girl. You go, girl. I love that for you. She has never been knocked out, so she likes to get punched in the face, and she can show it that durability. Oh my word. Very exciting for her to watch. Such a big fan. Most of her losses are via decision, 70%. So you're either gonna take her decision or manifest the submission, a little more rare on that end. She comes from a very supportive family, but she is unique in her athletic prowess, which you don't always see that, right? I think it's usually the reverse, actually, that people have pretty sporty families if they're going to make it to the professional level in a sport. Not Alice, okay? She is the black sheep of her family. That is so cute. She also has a physical education degree. Keep that in the back pocket. She's really, really funny. She got a really big TikTok following. She makes all these skits and things. She's a really, really fun, cool gal. And she is going against Montserrat Ruiz, who we're pretty curious about. Pretty curious. We haven't seen her in a while. Shout out Leon, Guanajuato. That's where she is from. Fighting out of Texas now, but that is where she's from, and that's where she got her wrestling start. So she was competing pretty legit in wrestling. She's from Invicta, made her way to the UFC back in, it's not listed there, but it's before 2023. Currently coming off of a TKO loss to Eduardo Mora. That was 2 years ago. It's crazy to think about. Struggled a bit on the ground there. But also, Mora was, like, massively overweight in that. She was 6 pounds heavy. It was weird. It was kind of a weird fight in general, but yeah, seems to get a little bit dogged out on the ground. So we're on a 3-fight losing streak. They've all been knockouts, 2 of them ground and pound related. So getting kind of muscled in the ground and then beaten down there. And it's 70% of her losses total are coming from the knockout. So it's a little susceptibility there. Never been subbed, though. 30% of her wins there. Definitely more of a decision. Gal, we're just really happy that she's back because we haven't seen her in a while, so that's really cool. She's been hanging out with Alexa Grasso, getting some good training in there. We love that. And one characteristic thing about her is she's tatted up. She got some really cool tattoos all the way up to the neck. They're very artistic. They're not, like, chaotic. They're really, like, beautiful art piece. But, no judgment if your tattoos are chaotic. That's cool, too. This fight is super curious because we haven't seen Ruiz in so long. I think I'm expecting Alice to come out there guns a-blazing, and I'm expecting her to, again, smile in the face of pain. This will be just a really interesting fight because we got a bit of unknowns on our hands. So pretty curious about this one and how Ruiz is going to come back. Maybe some potential ring rust. We saw a really cool comeback last weekend with Mizuki, who was also gone for 2 years. That was due to injury. And she came back guns a-blazing. So you never know. Kind of wishing for that with Ruiz because we want to break that 3-fight losing streak. But a big fan of Alice. She is one tough dog. So this should be a tough dog fight. Then we have some really exciting movement in the women's bantamweight division. This is so cool. Ketlin Vieira, number 3 versus Norma Dumont. Gonna have to take off this first layer. Whoa. What do we got underneath this? Whoa. What do you think? What do you think of that? Huh? Which Garfield horror character is your favorite? Freddy Krueger, Jason, creepy it clown. Is that Pinhead? Oh my gosh, Pinhead? Okay, Leatherface or Hannibal Lecter. We're going Chael. Ketlin Vieira, phenomenal, and she is phenomenal. We love her. She started BJJ at age 12, then transitioned to judo, so she is a black belt in both of those things, and she's a very decorated wrestler, national champion, shout out. And she has been with the Jose Aldo team since the beginning. So, OG, Nova, Uniao. Is that how you say that? She's OG on that team. So that's really, really cool. Been working with the best of the best for a while now. Best of the best. Came to the UFC in 2016 and has fought so many great competitors. This is insane. The people that Ketlin Vieira has fought, oh my goodness. Because the women's bantamweight division, it's not exactly extremely deep. So, it's not that hard to start fighting greats pretty quickly. The competition gets stiff quickly. Currently coming off of a decision win against Macy Chiasson. That was a featherweight bout, unfortunately. We had a bit of a weight miss. There. She did a pretty good job controlling that fight. She was in control. Just control 101. She's a stand and bang type, but countering. So she's ready to stand and bang, but she is an incredible counter striker. Really, really technical with that. She is just making that rip to the body, so willing to get gritty and take and give damage, of course, but to receive the damage, but still very technical in there. Never been submitted, often subbing, so she has got really good control on the ground, absolutely, and her takedown defense is rock solid. So yeah, if it's gonna go on the ground, usually it's her choice. Usually it's her doing, it's her wish. And she's always dreamed of being a fighter, probably since being 12 years old. And she's going against Norma Dumont, who is also so awesome. Phenomenal versus the Immortal. That's pretty cool. Norma is switchy. Switchy, totally by definition. She is switching stances constantly. And it's pretty much how she stays in control that way. Seems to switch every time that her opponent starts to be leading the dance a little bit to give him the old, give him the old confusion. She is a Sanda black belt and national champion, so we got 2 national champs on our hand. I mean, these women are decorated, and they're in the top 5 of the UFC. I mean, talk about baddies. She has been in the UFC since 2020, 8-2. Pretty similar to Ketlin, so they have walked this journey side by side and have yet to meet until now. She is coming off of a decision win against Irene Aldana, who I believe is Ketlin's only knockout loss, or one of her only knockout losses. A little drama there. That was really incredible. Irene Aldana, she is an incredible boxer, just so gifted in the hands, keeps the guard really, really tight. And what was really cool is that Norma hung really well on the feet. So I think a lot of people were expecting maybe her to implement a little bit more takedowns and such, but she was feeling it on the feet. She was absolutely feeling it, and she was ahead in the strikes, I think, every single round, and really in round 3, really, really put it on and stayed athletic with it until the very, very end. I mean, she busted Aldana up. She was a complete mask of blood. That was a really exciting fight. We love that. And she is on a 5-fight win streak. It's been looking amazing. She has yet to get a knockout win. So she is grinding out some bloody decisions. Oh my goodness. Decision grind 101. Okay, 83% of her wins via decision. That's decision grind 101. Yeah, so she's never been subbed, but she's got 2 round 1 sub wins. So definitely has got it there. And again, mixing in the takedowns. Usually, though, it's when the pace of the fight is like she's not leading the dance. If she's not the one pushing the pressure, she starts going on the back foot, we're going to get a little takedown in there. And I love that. She's got a great MMA IQ in that way. Seeing the things that she's got to see. She's so fun and cool. She was supposed to fight Rocky Pennington, but that fight got scrapped. So here we are. Really, really excited for this fight. I think we're going to get some stand and bang. But both ladies just so technical. I'm really, really excited. I have a feeling that Ketlin is going to embrace Norma marching forward and try to trick her into something. Try to give her the old, the old trickster, but pretty hard to trick Norma. She's one smart cookie. So I think we're going to see a really, really aggressive and really, really smart fight, which we love that as a combo. I cannot see in those. We love it. So much fun when things are gritty and nasty, but we've got that fight IQ up to 100. So expecting that and expecting this to be so athletic. I'm really, really excited about this. It's really fun. And reminder, Ketlen Vieira dragged Kayla Harrison to a decision. So even though she was getting, big dogged on the ground a little bit, hey, that's a pretty good feeling to have taken Kayla Harrison there. But yeah, anyway, this should be a really fun one. Then we got some middleweights with Dante Johnson making his debut against Cedric Dumas. Dante Johnson undefeated as he comes into the UFC lockjaw. That's pretty scary. It's kind of scary. Scary name. I like it. He's from the Dana White's Contender Series, and he took that fight in short notice. It ended pretty quickly. We had a little bit of a 3-4 spam, as you do. As you do. Sometimes you do. He's on a 7-fight win streak right now, completely undefeated as a pro, riding in off that one last amateur fight. Everything is in knockout, and everything is in round 1. And he's a Midwestern guy. Cool. So this is a really fun debut. We're really excited to see if he's going to keep this streak. And he's going against a complicated individual, to say the least, Cedric Dumas. He's a kickboxer. He's been in the UFC since 2023. It's been a bit of a mixed bag. Currently coming off of a no contest with Zach Reese. And that was a weird one. Fight started out good. Typical SETI game plan, right? Going for the low kicks. And then he got groin shotted and you could hear that echo around the world. And he shut down. His body shut down. He said he couldn't feel his right one. Oh, my Lord. Tough stuff. Yeah. Yeah, he's been getting into a bit of trouble lately outside of the fights, right? Que tiene más arrestos que pelas. So this is an interesting fight, right? We got a debut, Dante's debut. Should be pretty cool. Definitely a heavy power, but a little bit of a 3-4 spam. SETI, he's more of a low kick kind of guy, shifty with it. So I'm sure he's going to want to keep his distance and make this a point fight for sure. Keep Dante at bay. And then we have Timmy Cuamba versus Li Cheng-ho. Twilight Timmy! That's fun. Does he mean Twilight with vampires? Probably not. But he's Twilight Timmy! He had his first kickboxing fight when he was 10 years old. Who greenlighted that? No, it's fine. It's fine. He's a two-time Tough Enough champ. That's fun. Tough Enough. I love that promotion name. It's so silly. Dana White's Contender Series is where we snagged him, and he is 1-2 in the UFC right now, coming off of his first win. He hit him with that flying knee. Hit him with that flying knee just a couple of months ago. First round was really fun too. I mean, both guys were absolutely piecing each other up. So manifested that round 2 flying knee knockout, very flashy flash, amazing. And he made his UFC debut on 4 days' notice and had actually fought just 10 days prior. Okay, that's pretty cool, and it's even cooler. It's even cooler because he went to a split decision with Belagioki. I'd say that's quite impressive. He's definitely a gamer, and throughout all of his fights, you can really see his fighting spirit. Very fast hands. I mean, whoa, he's there and he's gone. That was slow, but you know what I mean. Picture that fast. Very fast, keeps the guard really, really high, keeps it tight. 67% of his losses are via decision, so definitely proved a bit of durability in his fight against Lucas Almeida, who's a little bit outclassed there. So that's an interesting fight to take a look at. Was just pushed out, but he showed so much heart. Like, he did not give up on himself. He was dropped, I think, 4 different times. What the hell? Like, he was dropped so many times, he just kept coming back up. So we love Timmy for that. He's got so much heart, so much soul. He's never won a submission before. Yet. Nah, he's more of a kickboxing kind of guy. His 56% of his wins are from knockout, though, and he's never been knocked out. So really showing that durability again. Saw him get knocked down 4 times, but he came right back up. Yes. And he's clearly looking for the knockout when you watch him fight. So even if his fights are going to decision, he's kind of got that head-hunty look in his eye, Yeah, he's got the head-hunting look. He's going against Chang-Ho Lee, who's a southpaw. We got more southpaws. Road to UFC champion. He's currently coming off of a performance of the night. Round 2 knockout win over Cortavicius Romeus. This was a crazy fight. This was an incredible pace. I mean, these guys were rolling around. They both were threatening each other with submissions. In that first round and in the second round, he found himself like putting the nastiest body triangle on Romesius. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was so tight. It was so nasty. And it was very athletic. Like, as they spun, he was able to maintain it. And eventually he did get his knockout while he was in a mount position. So he hammered his way to a finish. And it was a really impressive performance. It was. It was so aggressive. It was so MMA. Like, that's what I really liked about it, as we saw a little bit of everything in that fight, and which is so much aggression and urgency. So he's on a 5-fight win streak right now. He dropped out of college to fight, so that's how you know he likes it, right? Like, he was on his way, carving his path, and he just says, I want to fight. Yeah, he's like Alice. He wants to get hit in the face. Very clinchy, and it's so crazy because he kind of will just like walk up and grab you. Like, don't let him get close because he loves the clinch. He loves it in there. Loves it. And why does he love it? Because he's Lee with the knee. He's Lee with the knee. I know he doesn't have a nickname, but knee could be his nickname because he seriously hit so many meaningful knees in all of his fights. Like, that racks up a lot of points for him because those knees land. They're meaningful. So don't let him grab you, right? He's never been finished. Very, very technical setup. So while he's outside, like, dancing around, he's throwing a lot of really good feints and such like that. And so when the distance is there, he's looking really technical. But, oh my word, once the distance closes, it's 3-4 chaos. It's 3-4 chaos. It's amazing. So he's got both. He's got both. He's got the ability to be unhinged and the ability to keep it really, really tight. Happy to get right in there. This is a really, really exciting fight. Get excited about this one because both of these guys have some serious heart and soul. I mean, we've seen Timmy just dragged, into some really deep waters, and he is completely undeterred. He's got that fighting spirit. Nothing can stop him. Nothing can stop him. And we've seen Lee just so crafty with it. And again, also hammering his way into his last finish, just putting on a incredible pace. So much fun. And that MMA mind is awesome. Violent clinch work. I think it's going to be really fun. Timmy's a really, really crafty striker. I expect we are going to see Lee just come here, boy. Give him one of those. Give him the old wrap up. This is going to be really, really fun because, again, Timmy can't be deterred. So Lee's going to drag him to deep waters. Timmy's going to swim. He's going to swim it out. It's going to be really fun. And then we have what I think is our featured prelim, Billy Elekana versus Kevin Christian. This is a light heavyweight fight. Billy, son of Susie. That's a cool nickname. He's coming off of a decision win against Ibo Aslan. And previously, he had a pretty interesting fight against Bogdan Gustav because he was looking really, really good in the grappling until he wasn't. And why? Well, because he got hit with a couple of nasty body shots and it kind of crumbled him down. But by the look of that fight, he was almost going to play upset. So he came in as a last minute fill in, and that was pretty cool. And we know how good Bogdan has been doing. Yeah, Billy is definitely on that decision grind twofold. 50% of his wins, 50% of his losses. He has never been knocked out. Billy is tough. He was close to getting knocked out in that fight against Gustav, but he got wrapped up instead. We're still learning about Billy, though. We're still learning. This is his third UFC appearance. So right in with, he got that first UFC win. He's going against Kevin Christian, making his UFC debut. Woo woo. Kevin. He is so tall. Kevin's huge. He's like 6'7" or something like that. But he doesn't exactly fight tall. Still fights close. Long legs, fights close. Dana White's Contender Series, he got a triangle armbar win. He's got 4 total, so he's definitely a bit of a subster, right? And pandemic kind of shut down his career a little bit, but here he is on a 6-fight win streak. Yep, sub-preferred. You could tell he was really looking for it that entire Dana White's Contender Series fight as well. Like, spent a lot of time on his back, like, come here. Definitely looking for it. And when we're on the feet, yeah, he's tall, but he's not exactly using that length in a really big way. Maybe that's just not his style. It's not his style. But you know what? He's a civil engineer. That's something cool about him. There you go. I suspect that Kevin is going to be looking to deploy the typical game plan. Where's the arm triangle at? Where is it at? Where is it? Give it here. The thing about Billy, though, is his only submission loss. It came after he was taking a lot of punishment. So I think really it was the body shots that opened him up to get submitted, to get gillied out, and he definitely hard to do that to him if you don't damage him first. So Kevin's going to have to give him the old hurdy hurt. He's going to have to hurt him up. He's going to have to bang up Billy if he's going to want to get his little arm triangle, because you know what? Billy's quite crafty on the ground, so I just don't suspect he's going to necessarily fall into it. Hey, we will see. And that leads us to the main card and the last shirt reveal. Why did I put all 3 layers on at once? Because I thought that was funny, okay? I thought what I'm doing right now is funny. Why is she so funny? Okay, last year we got on Scream. Oh. Yeah, big fan. One of my favorite horror movies, scary movies. What's your favorite scary movie? What's your favorite scary movie? Okay. Let me know what your favorite scary movie is. Okay. Main card. Shout out Alan Nascimento and shout out Cody Durden. Shout out Cody because he's stepping in about 4 days notice. We've got a fabulous catchweight bout, right? Naturally. Alan Nascimento, pure Oso, he's been fighting since he was 15, says he never had a job. This is his job. This is his life. Rising. Finally made his way to the UFC through the Dana White's Contender Series and has been looking good. His decision win against Jafel Fila was really impressive. Jafel just came off a pretty great win, really great performance, so really, really tough guy, and that was a really, really tough fight. It was toughy, it was rolly, it was all over the ground, and Alan really proved to be dominant there. That's definitely his world, and it was very, very cool to see him do so well because we had not seen him since 2023, so shout out to Alan. Shout out to Alan for that. Beast mode. That was a really cool win. That's a really, really fun fight. So technical. Both those guys, they got that MMA mind. He had 4 canceled bouts in a row, so that's pretty scary. Don't like that. We hope the canceled bout curse is over. He's a very, very technical guy. He's so technical. It's amazing. Just the work that he does on the ground. But just in general, like his ability to sense where he wants to take the fight and what's going to work best for him. He's really, really good at it. Absolute professional. Totally veteran. He's 70% of his wins are manifesting into submissions. Because again, ground world is his world. And he has never been finished. So Alan is tough and he is in control on the ground for sure. Knockouts really aren't his thing. Again, he's pretty much a subby. And he's going against custom-made Cody Durden. Shout out our Atlanta man, our Southern Belle. He's a gamer. Cody's got a really strong wrestling foundation, but it really manifests itself into MMA craziness. Cody is getting his wins and his losses in all the ways. All the ways. He's all the ways. He's all the way everything. He's 6-6 in the UFC and has had some incredible fights. Right now, coming off of a round 2 TKO loss to Jose Ochoa. Unfortunately, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. And last time, he was saying, because it's been like 2 losses, and then he had a win, and then now it's this other 2 losses, so it's been a little frustrating for Cody, and he says he's been a little PO'd about it. He's been a little PO'd about it. I think he's probably still PO'd, I imagine, right? With another loss. But he's been working a lot on his conditioning, so looking to, if he survives to the decision, to make sure it's his decision, right? I get that. He really wants to get to the top of the food chain. I believe in him. He really wants to see blood. He's definitely somebody who thrives off chaos and hostility, in his own words. Interesting. He's also an outdoorsman, very into hunting. I have a feeling that Alan is going to work really hard to keep this a very technical fight, keep it skilled, and Cody is going to look to unravel that ball of yarn. Unravel the ball of yarn and go into chaos and craziness, because that is where he thrives. If he can make this a dog fight, that's going to be a little bit more his style. Alan just likes to keep things really crisp, really clean. I know he's going to be wanting to pull Cody on the ground too, because, that's Alan's world. That's Alan's world. And Cody is very, very aggressive and very gritty, nasty on the feet. So he's got plenty of ground skills, but, that's kind of Alan's game plan no matter what. In his mind, he's going to be better than you on the ground, and oftentimes he is. Then we have some incoming welterweight violence with Charles Radtke versus Daniel Frunza. Chuck Buffalo. Shout out to Charles Radtke. Chicago. He's a Chicago man. Yes, he is, and he is switchy. Charles usually switches, similarly to Norma when he's sensing that he's not leading the dance anymore. Although I'd say he's like a little less switchy. He's like switchy-ish. Yeah, shout out Chicago. Shout out CFFC, because he was a champion there. That's really cool. He's been 3-2 in the UFC and all in round 1. I lied. The Mike Malott fight was round 2. Okay, sorry. Not all round 1, but mostly. 3-2 and all but 1 are in round 1, and they're all in round 1 and round 2. That's crazy. So we're talking chaos. Radtke. That should be his new nickname. He really wants to put the pressure on you. So that's what was happening in that Mike Malott fight, right? Like, he was, in Mike's own words, going into the fight, he felt like he was going to be playing the Matador to Charles Bull, and that's definitely what we saw. Charles really likes to put on the pressure and wear you down. That's where he feels most comfortable. He's a BJJ black belt, so he's definitely got some, meaningful control there, having never got submitted. Seems to have a preference for the old stand and bang, but in general, he's looking to fight to improve himself. Yeah. Knockout power, 50% of his wins. He was inspired by Nate Diaz and GSP, so he self-identifies as Thug Jitsu, right? Naturally. Blood Brother Pride. And he's going against Daniel Frunza, who also has shown a bit of a preference for stand and bang, our old Tigano. He is coming off of a fight that was looking to be a pretty good one. But unfortunately, the doctor had to stop it. After round 1, right? Isn't that crazy? So we didn't even make it to a second round. Usually, fighters don't get so pieced up in round 1 that the doctor's got to stop it. I feel like that's a round 2, round 3 type situation. But these guys got after it right away. Reese McKee, Reese, he is an absolute dog. I mean, he is ready for bone-on-bone war and violence. This is what we got. He got knocked down 4 times. Hey, that's like Timmy. Hey, that's crazy. Wait, am I confusing those? No, Timmy did get knocked down in that fight too. Maybe not 4 times, though. Maybe I was confusing them. Oh, no. Okay. I'm not completely, but yes, he got knocked down 4 times in that round 1, which is absolutely insane. And it seemed like it was the eye, but it wasn't. It was the lip. Oh, it was the lip. Oh my God. So I'm hoping he's all stitched up. Hoping he's stitched up and ready to go. Wish we could have kept that one going, because again, that was an incredible fight. It was looking so hellish. I loved it. But, safety is safety. 60% of his losses are via submission, so a little self-vulnerable there. Nea win, and the majority of his losses, when it comes to Daniel and how he's manifesting his wins, it's power 101. I mean, almost 90% of his wins coming from knockout. He's got a lot of really good ground and pound as well, so chasing people down and finishing it out on the floor. Yeah, really believes in himself. He's very, very tough, showing a lot of toughness in there. I mean, got knocked down 4 times, came back up. Used to work in a slaughterhouse. That's a little scary. Hey, but it is what it is. Shout out to all the slaughterhouses. He is an outdoorsman. as well. This is going to be really, really fun. I think we have maybe some fight of the night potential on our hands. Both these guys just all out ready for war. I'm interesting though to see if Charles, I know he's got a little stand and bang preference, but if Mr. Radtke is going to look to get this to the ground because he does have that BJJ black belt, he does have really good control on the ground, but I have a feeling that this one's just going to be a chaotic stand up match. I feel like it's going to have just a little bit of the energy of the main event actually, which I also suspect will be on the feet, but this should be very fun and very violent. Very violent. And then we have a featherweight bout between Isaac Dulagarian and Yader Del Valle. Isaac Dulagarian, the Midwest Choppa. Why is he called Choppa? Well, it's because he wants to chop you up. That's true. I'm not lying. He went undefeated in FAC and was a former champion there. Found his way to the UFC through the lesser known Dana White's Looking for a Fight. I mean, how many of these do we have to have? But I like that one because Dean Thomas is involved. Okay. Currently coming off of an arm triangle win, and that was last year, so it's been a little bit of time. Happy to see him back. That was a pretty fun fight. I mean, they went after it really, really quick. That was pretty cool. And he's definitely showing off that wrestling foundation in his fights for sure. Looking to dog you out in the wrestling. 56% of his wins are knockout, and all 4 of them are in round 1. So it seems like if he's going to get the knockout, it's going to be pretty quick. He's got a lot of power, though. He's got a lot of power for sure. And only way that he has lost is via decision. That one single loss against C-Rod, he says that it doesn't count. Oh, drama. Drama. He says it doesn't count. I don't know. You tell me if it counts. So he's finished all 7 of his wins. All 7 of them. And it's almost evenly split. So we got, 4 knockouts and then 3 submissions. So that's really, really cool. He's definitely a finisher by definition. He's representing Kansas. We got 2 Kansas people and Armenia. That's cool. Armenian descent. He likes dirt biking, beekeeping, and he is a very much so self-described introvert. He's going against Yader Del Valle, the Cuban problem. Reminds me of, who's the fighter who is the Cuban Missile Crisis? Oh no. He's a southpaw. He's a BJJ black belt, judo brown belt. That's a great combo. We know it is. He definitely shows that crazy creativity. A lot of judo style takedowns, it seems like. Pretty fun stuff. He was completely offense, no defense in his Dana White's Contender Series performance. It was a tired but very solid 3rd round, so he did manage to find something within him to push past all the tiredness. And it's coming off of a round 1 rear naked choke win over Connor Matthews. Pretty cool stuff. He did a really good job reading Connor in that fight, predicting the kicks, blocking them completely, getting the takedown. Yeah, he saw right through him. That was really cool stuff. So he is on a 13-fight win streak, completely undefeated as a professional, and been riding that high for a while. His wins are coming in all the ways, but he's definitely on that decision grind, favoring a little bit, 44% of the wins there, but he's a choker. That rear naked choke's not his only one. Kicky, knee, elbowy. Yeah, he's a big fan of the joints. Big fan of the joints, big on the elbows, for sure. Big on all those things. So he's mixing it up for sure. Ready for the pocket exchange, though, and fun thing about him, his family and him own a food truck where they sell pizza and Cuban food. Ooh, I'm hungry. This should be really, really fun. Both these guys are paving their way in the UFC. I think they're a perfect match for each other. Both of them have less than 4 fights in the UFC. Pretty curious to see, especially, though, Valle, because his fight against Connor was over very quickly, but he looked to have such a good read on him that I feel like his MMA IQ is definitely up there, and excited to see that showcase more. And Isaac is quite a smart cookie himself, a very technical fighter as well. And Isaac thinks he's undefeated too. So in his mind, it's a fight between 2 undefeated fighters. Let me know what you think. And then we have another welterweight fight. A lot of welterweight fights here, I'm realizing now, with the birthday boy, Jeremiah Wells. His birthday's tomorrow on the 30th, versus Themba Gorimbo. Jeremiah, happy almost 39. He's almost 39. That's cool. Happy birthday to you. Philly. That's where he's from. Oh yeah. He is a BJJ black belt. And he has been in the UFC since 2021, former FFC. He's had 2 canceled belts in a row. And that's unfortunate because it's also two losses. Most recently, though, a split decision against Max Griffin, and I would say that that fight was quite close. Fight was quite close. It was a split decision. Both guys were kind of playing the old load and explode. You know what I mean? The old load and explode. First round, I think there was like one significant strike. Okay, that's not true, but that's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. Felt like one significant strike, and just a lot of patience on the outside, and not too much happening in there. Jeremiah says he blames himself for just not getting the finish. Hey, come on now. But that was an interesting fight. Yeah, load and explode. So that's the thing with the old load and explode. Usually that comes from people who know that they possess a lot of finishing power. And Jeremiah definitely does. So, and he's also never been knocked out. So when he's ready to explode, he's confident that he's going to survive. He'll survive the onslaught. He's very heavy on the cardio too. Jeremiah, that's the thing. He can really push the pace and the athleticism throughout the entire fight. He does a lot of circling. I mean, him and Max, they were literally just circling. They were waltzing around the octagon. It's kind of fun. Yeah. And that's kind of how he's looking in most of his fights, looking to explode his way to the middle. And when I say explode, I mean explode. So at this point, we've kind of graduated from 3-4, 3-4 to whatever you would call this. Did you hear that? My shoulder cracked. This. Yeah. Some of these. So, with vengeance, too. I mean, they are whipping. I don't know how you don't dislocate a shoulder that way. But that's kind of Jeremiah's thing. And outside of the fights, he is a dog breeder and an animal lover. And he seems to be in a really good place. I don't think anybody wished him happy birthday, though, at the media day. So that was a shame. Go wish him a happy birthday, please. And he's going against Gorimbo, he's a good time guy. This guy's funny. He is a funny guy. He is very philosophical as well, funny and deep. Mamba, that's his new nickname, I guess. Like it. Like many people, he saw the movie Never Back Down, circa 2010, and was like, oh, I can do that. I love how many people in the UFC today, because it's been enough time since Never Back Down has come out, like that's the actual reason that they wanted to join the UFC. It's amazing. It's amazing. It just shows you the power of media. And I am being so for real right there. The power of media. He knew it had to be him, right? So EFC champion, did amazing over there. He's been in the UFC since 2023, and he is the first Zimbabwean to ever win a UFC fight. So let's go history. Okay, let's go history. Right now he's coming off of a pretty interesting anaconda choke loss to Vicente Luque. That was not over a year, almost a year ago. And that was pretty crazy. So it seems as though the reason why he got wrapped up was because he was dropped. So Vicente was very efficient. He dropped him and then he immediately had his hands around his neck. And Themba did not tap. He went out like a light. He was asleep. And then we had to wait and, checking everything. It was some scary stuff. And 60% of his losses are via submission. So maybe a bit of a weak point there. He is decision and sub equal. So 43% in both of those. And knockouts are not his thing. I love the submission chaos, right? I love it when somebody gets a lot of wins via submission, but the losses are manifesting there as well. A little bit chaotic, and we love it. That's something to look into. He's a quick starter. So a lot of knockout people are quick starters, but only 40% of his wins have manifested knockout. So it's more like he is a quick starter, and we're just looking to keep that pace. He loves hooks, but he keeps it pretty tight. Okay, so we're moving on from this, and we're going back to this, right? So he keeps it tight, but it's more than just 1 or 2, 3, 4s. It's like 6 or 7. So loves them. If he's trying to back you up against the fence, you're gonna see this. You're gonna see that. And after he won one of his fights, I don't know which one it was, one of the 4, he said something about how he only had $7 in his bank account, which is, come on, Dana, let's do something about that. And The Rock apparently related because, kind of cosmically at one point in his life. So when The Rock, I think when he was playing like college football or sometime in his athletic career, he had $7 in his bank account. So what did he do? He bought him a house. Oh. So Gorimbo has a house courtesy of The Rock, and I think that's really cool, and he deserves it. And I love that. That's great. Really fun stuff. And he's also been doing a lot of, he doesn't like this word, philanthropy. He doesn't like the word. He doesn't like the word, okay? But he is a philanthropist. He's giving back to his community, building boreholes, just making a positive impact. Just like his hero, Kobe Bryant. Although Kobe Bryant isn't his hero because he's a philanthropist, he is his hero because Kobe Bryant was just so unique, obviously, in the way that he approached the game. Right? Okay. He's very philosophical, given that, right? He's super philosophical. We got some opposite approaches. Okay, maybe not opposite, but different approaches for this fight. Jeremiah, bit of a tentative, waiting on the outside and looking to explode in the middle. Themba is like, let's go, 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 and looking to keep and push that pace the entire fight. So it'll be interesting to see how Jeremiah deals with that pressure. He knows what to do. He knows what to do. He's a veteran. And that leads us to our co-main event, a really fun heavyweight fight between Waldo Cortez Acosta, number 6, against Ante Delija, who is somehow number 9, and he's only had one UFC appearance. Waldo Cortez Acosta, very athletic, heavyweight, and he is salsa boy, because he is. We're talking salsa dancing. He is salsa boy. He's an LFA champion, and he's been doing really well in the UFC since coming here in 2022. I mean, he's coming off of a decision loss to Sergey Pavlovich, top of the top, dog of the dog. Just, Sergey's aggressive. He was aggressive, and he got it done after they had a bit of a tentative start, and Sergey was in. Okay, he was in. He's fought 2 Sergeys in a row. That's fun. And before this decision loss, he was on a 5-fight win streak, and he's been so active. I think this is his 4th fight this year. That's amazing. That's crazy. He's crazy. And he's never been finished, so showed a lot of durability, of course. 50% of his wins are via decision because he's pretty active, especially with getting in those low kicks. Like, he is chopping up at those legs very efficiently. And 43% of his wins manifesting as knockout, but in any round. So he is putting out a lot of pressure during his fights. Once he gets going, he can be a little bit of a tentative, but once he gets going, the pressure is going to stay because he's super athletic. And he also has a very, very good takedown defense. So that's pretty characteristic of him. He's pretty good at keeping people off of him, and he can get very flashy with his strikes, especially with the kicks. And if you didn't know, he was a baseball player. And he's going against Ante Delija, Walking Trouble. That's a pretty fun nickname. He is a PFL champ and has been really, really hyped up because he was originally supposed to join the UFC in 2020, but it fell through. So he's here now. And he's coming off a performance of the night knockout, round 1, to Marcin Tybura. I mean, whoa. And the boxing was looking crazy. I mean, we were, right? We were uppercuts. It was awesome. And it meant a lot to him. Right? He broke down in tears. I started crying. Tom Aspinall started crying. We all started crying because, I didn't know that he had almost made his way to the UFC in 2020, and for whatever reason that fell through. But I think that really adds, obviously, 5 years to finally manifest that first win. Been working really hard. So he's on a 2-fight win streak now. And he's got a pretty big record, right? 26-6. That's a lot of fights. So he's amassed 12 knockouts. So 46%, but that's 12. And as mentioned, he's friends with Tom Aspinall. And interestingly enough, Tom said that he would vacate the title for him. So they're not just friends. Like, they're best buds. Like, they're besties. And pretty crazy. You know how the heavyweight division is, right? Especially, now we've added more drama. Like, the heavyweight division is just so crazy. So only in the heavyweight division would your second UFC appearance be a co-main event. Okay, it's not true. It's not only the heavyweight division, but you know what I mean. That is some heavyweight division type energy. Only in the heavyweight division are you ranked number 9 after... Okay, not only. I shouldn't say that. But it's weird. It's weird stuff. It's weird. So there's big pressure, right? But luckily, he's all about pressure because that's how he fights. Pressure, pressure, pressure. I am really excited for this fight. I mean, obviously, really, really big heavyweight implications, but I think, we didn't get to see much from Ante, so, who is he? Who is he really? And I don't think there's a lot of better men to test who he is really than Waldo Cortez Acosta, who is very, very skilled. He's pretty pushy. He is very, very technical, great point fighter, lots of nasty low kicks, ouchie, ouchie, and both guys are just looking, I think, for an athletic performance. Really excited to see more boxing from Ante Delija. Yes, and he is just so hyped up. This is a really, really hype matchup and should be a very, very fun co-main event. And we're going to get a lot of information. Hello, data collection. Everybody lock in on the data collection. And that leads us to an incredible main event. This is going to be so much fun. I hope you are just as excited as I am for Steve Garcia versus David Onama. Of course, the featherweights. Steve, Mean Machine Garcia, he's number 12 now after his most recent win against Calvin Kattar. Really, really significant stuff. So Steve, another southpaw, mostly like preferred southpaw. He is 7-2 in the UFC, and this is the fight that he wanted. So after he kept Calvin at complete length with that jab. Like, Calvin could not get in there. He could not get in there no matter how hard he tried. It was crazy. I mean, it was amazing. Steve really, really outdid him in there, and that's very impressive. It's very impressive, hence the number 12 next to his name now. And he asked for David Onama, which is, I love that. I'm not sure if Steve was considering that, he would be ranked potentially above David given his win to Calvin. The rankings are a mess anyway. I'm not sure he was really thinking that. I think he just probably wanted to fight David because he, like us, can see the magic of that matchup. Oh my goodness. So he asked for this fight and they gave it to him. And I think it's really cool that they're giving it its main event position. That's just such fun stuff. This is going to be awesome. Before his Calvin Kattar fight, which did end up going to decision because, Calvin's one tough Boston cookie, he was on a 5-fight knockout streak. So a bit of pressure, right? A bit of pressure to get the knockout. Didn't get the knockout, but got a dominant decision win. So, yeah. But he does have 14 wins via knockout, so definitely his preferred style, 82%. I mean, that's heavy stuff. Heavy! Talk about power hour. It's power hour. He's on a 6-fight win streak. He's definitely a performance of the night type. He had 2 performance of the night wins, and those were round 1 and round 2 finishes. You know how he is. And when we say finish, we mean knockout, right? Because he's not really into submissions. He's not really a sub. Nope. He is more of a left kick to punctuate my heavy combos up top type. Yeah. So long with the jab. Like, he looks really long. I don't know how tall Steve is, but he looks so long with his jab. Awesome. And he leads to that straight left because, again, southpaw. So his jabby jab is his righty. And the way that he sets up the straight left, like, it is terrifying stuff. Like, ouch. Like, it is ouchie. And again, he asked for this fight. So this is really cool that it's manifesting. And outside of fighting, you can find him golfing, fishing, exploring the world. And he's friends with Holly Holm, which seems to add up, right? 2 very, very talented boxers hanging out and boxing it out. And who is Steve's wish? Oh, none other than David Onama. None other than Kansas's own. Kansas. David is very much so Kansas and Uganda because he moved here when he was 10. He started watching the UFC as a kid. I feel like the UFC is popular in Kansas. I don't know why. So he's been in the UFC since 2021. Right now he's coming off of a decision win against Giga Chikadze, which was really, really cool. Giga Chikadze, he's kicky. He is kicky. He's a scary, scary striker. The old Giga kick. And David did a really good job grappling him down. Like, he was like, ooh, I think I've had enough of this. Let me grapple with you a little bit. Let me get in some really heavy control time on that. And definitely got it done. It was looking real, real good. But he is still a finisher, primarily with the knockouts, striking it up. But he's got that subby backup. Yeah, 50% of the wins, though, are via knockout. Has never been finished. Is on a 4-fight win streak. Very, very clinchy. That's the thing about David. He loves the clinch. Both of his losses, too, are really, really incredible bouts. Like, that's why we love David Onama, is because everything that he does seems to be a beautiful showcase. So, never forget the Landwehr Classic. Oh my God, fight of the year 2022. Oh my gosh, fight of the year 2022. That was crazy. Nate Landwehr. Oh man, talk about one tough dog from Clarksville, right? Yikes. Yikes in a good way. So that was a really, really cool fight. David is just such a gamer. He stepped in short notice for his debut to fight Mason Jones. So that's his other loss, is Mason Jones, who is also really incredible. I mean, those are 2, I would say those are 2 very acceptable losses, especially the Nate Landwehr, because that fight is fight of the year. Love it. For 2022. Okay. So he showed in those losses and in all of his wins that he's got a very aggressive and explosive style. Just such a fun fighter to watch all the way through. And hey, if you didn't know, Yusuf Zalal is both his friend and his cornerman. So he's going to be there in his corner. If he isn't, I would be surprised. Many of us suspect that this fight is going to be all on the feed. I mean, that's what they were asking them at the little media day. Is this fight going to be on the feed? What are the keys to success? The things they asked them. And both guys kind of laughed a little bit. I think it's because, yeah, I think it is going to be pretty on the feed. I mean, Steve showing a little bit more of a preference there than David, but again, they both have this really incredible aggressive style. It's just going to be so much fun. I know that both of these guys are going to put on an absolute war and they are so, so tough. I really don't think that, I don't know, I don't think a finish is going to happen. So exciting. I think this is got some fight of the night potential. I mean, it's the main event. Usually those ones are set up to be pretty entertaining. Am I right? But maybe it's going to have fight of the year potential, like David Onama's fight against Landwehr. This is going to be such an exciting fight. I mean, the Silent Assassin and the Mean Machine both manifesting most of their wins via finishes. And, David Onama, never been finished. And Steve, he's no easy guy to finish either. Come on, only two losses via finish for him as well. So super durable finishers and just some tough technical baddies. It's gonna be great. I think that is all I've got. Let me know what you're looking forward to. Halloween costumes, anything at all, I guess. Yeah. So that's it. Peace out.